for joining. This is Essence of Life, and today we're talking about. And today we're. Hi guys, thank you for joining. This is Essence of Life. I'm just so pissed I can't even get it out without crying.
Okay, let me do it
You
then.
say it, but I want to
Okay.
say current events in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Just
well,
wait a sec.
hello everybody. This is Essence of Life, and we are going to talk about the current event in Minnesota, especially what's happening with ICE and immigration. And Amanda, obviously, she's as American as Minnesotan as it gets, but she had some hesitation to talk about that. And um, she literally said a few minutes ago that she doesn't even feel safe to talk about that. But on the other side, this is America. If we don't use our freedom, we don't deserve it. So I more or less forced her to today in this podcast to talk about this current event, what's happening, because this is something that is relevant to every single of us. I have three people here that
You
are
have
not,
more than 3 people.
but and these are well, we have more than three people, but these three are like my sons, like my children, and they are scared to go out, and just because they are Chinese and they are here legally, they are do amazing work.
They're active people. They like to go out in the community. They like to participate in things that are happening in Minneapolis and downtown. And I'm not talking about protests. I'm talking about
just live.
loving our city, taking part in art events that are happening, going to crafting shows. They go and they buy little things at these shows. They really do take part in the community. They go to like the orchestra.
They're scared to do that now.
They told me they're not going out this weekend.
Yeah.
They told me they're not even going to the grocery store. They're going to DoorDash their food to their house.
And you see, I think the disruption that brings to people's life here is not the side effect. It is actually intended effect of what's going on there with the ICE. And now I was wondering, why do they come to city like Minneapolis, but not to Houston, where, in Houston, there is a lot more.
I think I read even in Florida the immigrant population is 23%.
It is much more illegal immigrant, undocumented immigrant. I don't call any person illegal um, in those cities, but there is a reason that they sent like three times more than we have police officers in Minneapolis, ICE to city. That is overall, um, it's not the main hub for illegal immigrant. The main hub for illegal immigrant is Florida, some in Texas.
Our closest border is Canada,
Yeah.
and that's like over 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, but not only that, I don't believe any of these people intend to catch are Canadian. So,
No.
but what I'm getting at, there is a disruption in people's life that we, every day, we regular people here, we feel it. And this disruption is no question, is the intended uh, effect of what they're doing, not the side effect of it at all. And we all cannot be silenced about it. Um, and there's a freedom of speech here that I know that they're trying to limit that, but I come from a country that people weren't used to have freedom of speech, and that was the wonderful thing about America. And I'm not I will be damned if I let what happened to my old country happen to my new country. That we are scared even to talk about our views, take advantage of our freedom, and that's what it is. That's what's happening now.
We also have freedom of the press, which they're trying to take away.
Yeah.
We have freedom of the press, and they're suppressing that. They're not allowing people to video them making arrests. They're not allowing people to video them beating up our American citizens.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how we on what part of political spectrum we are. This is at core. It was dangerous to our um, to basic foundation of our society and government. And as somebody who has studied history a lot, this has precedence. This is not a new tactic that you come and disrupt people's life. you do things that incite violence, and then use the violence as a so-called reason to um, force down your political views. This is nothing new about that. But
And
I
it's
think
not new to the United States either. I mean, if you look at the United States history, we're not we've had concentration camps in the United States, the Japanese concentration camps. And even back then, when we had those concentration camps in the United States, anyone who looked Japanese was getting targeted. It was the same thing, but now we have social media and now we have worse weapons. We have more people. We have people that are more easily influenced, which is my opinion. And
But do you know what's the difference between what our concentration camp and Germany's concentration camp? We didn't shoot them in the head. We didn't gas them.
didn't, but now what happened to Renee Good? She was shot 4 times.
Yeah.
And not only was she shot 4 times, she still had a pulse when the paramedics got to her. And there was a doctor on the scene who ICE refused to let get to her.
And I think as a doctor, as a physician, I think that is outrageous. That, there's somebody there that is able to provide initial and immediate care. And the other officer says, I don't care. He says, I'm a doctor. Let me provide first assistance, first aid. That the officer just blankly pointing that he doesn't care. And the paramedics are called, whereas, every second may count in a moment. Every second counts. And that is by itself, I think I think that's criminal by itself. To
It
not
is
allowing
criminal.
not allowing somebody provide first aid, first care for a patient that is shot 3 times in the head.
My understanding is that when you take gun safety classes, you actually are taught that you're supposed to do CPR after shooting someone to show that your intent wasn't to kill them, it was to protect yourself. That's
No.
my understanding.
Well, we know that it's recorded that that person just walked away and called
Called her a
Renee.
slur.
Yeah. And so that and as well we know that as a matter of fact we know that person life was not in danger. He's
He moved. There was videos and photos of him moving stuff out of his house in boxes to go and protect himself and his family, which, by the way, his wife is an immigrant.
Yeah.
Within an hour after that shooting happened, if anyone has ever been to the doctor, they know that going to the ER is going to take more than an hour itself.
Well, either way, what's happening here is disrupting people's life, people we care about, people who are our friend, and they're like our family. And
We have citizens here that are so scared because they're not white, and I'm talking about working in our office. This is a professional facility where everyone is educated, everyone has a pretty high level job here. They're so scared that they have to literally take their passport with them everywhere they go.
yeah, well, and I think all of us we cannot be indifferent to what's happening here. And that's why we, in the essence of life today, we are talking about that. Obviously, the worst thing we can do, let me be very clear. As a student of history, this is like a textbook, like a algorithmic thing. You poke people, you wait for them to respond and be violent, and you use that to escalate the violence. This is escalation of the violence is the intended goal of this. So the worst thing you can do is escalate the violence and give them the pretense, and they will go and say, that's exactly what we were talking about, and
But
so on.
it's just too bad because it's to the point now in Minnesota. A lot of people who aren't Minnesotan, they don't understand what's going on here because the news isn't really reporting on what's going on in Minnesota. I have friends in Texas, I have friends in other states. They're asking me what's happening, and they have no idea what's happening in Minnesota. But the thing is, you don't even need to be violent before they start arresting you. You don't need to be violent
No,
before.
but that's what I'm trying to tell here is that what they do is exactly to incite violence. And if you do that, you play to that playbook that has been played over the history, at least by every totalitarian institution, thousands of times. This is exactly, see, disruption of lives of our friends and family is intended, inciting violence is intended goal of all this action. So if you do that, if you go there and then all of a sudden start throwing rocks and glass and something at police officers, then you are playing in the hands of of those people who had this intention. This is what you are doing. You should be present. You should be. I loved actually what Walt said about that. You should be there. You should document that. This is not just for posterity. Posterity. This is about having accountability. Okay, like if, California just brought a law that you can actually sue individual people of ICE, not just ICE, but individual people, if they break the law and violate your rights. And we have to document all of that. And I'm pretty sure we will bring in Minnesota something like that. And
They're
Minnesota,
trying,
yeah,
but
you were saying that Minnesotans are so nice. You showed me that thing that you want to describe it yourself, because
Okay,
in
let
other
me-
places, let me give you background. Like you go to Iran and you do something like that, they spear you and then they call your mother's name and they say all the funky thing they want to do to you and your family. But Minnesota is nice. Tell me what.
okay, so first of all, ICE, okay. I know, like, just to make it a little bit lighter, ICE chose the wrong state to mess with. They're in Minnesota in January. You're
How smart is that?
effing dumb to come to Minnesota in January and try and fight us who live here. We walk outside every single day. We know how to walk on the ice.
And all these people now, the memes that the ICE officer who fall down and on their ass, and there is
Yeah.
lots of videos out there. It's funny actually.
There's a lot of videos of ICE officers slipping, sliding, looking a fool on the ice as they should.
And they look really like fools.
And
when they do
actually,
that.
the Department of Homeland Security just like made this statement that they're really upset about the amount of ice in Minnesota right now because it's impacting ICE's ability to do their job.
Hey,
Like-
that is the idea. Be a little less, good at your snow shovel, at your snow removal.
Don't come to my house. You will. My driveway is my driveway is a skating rink right now. But actually, no, that's what a lot of the protesters are saying. Like, turn your water, because in Minnesota we turn our water off in the fall, like the outside water. People are saying turn your water back on and start watering your sidewalk. Start watering your driveway.
But because it's less likely Minnesotan will fall for that than
yeah,
people who are from. Yeah, and that is the thing. Most of these people are not from our community.
they're not even from here. They're coming from states like Ohio. But then actually, like, these protesters, they took a bunch of giant water jugs, opened the back of their truck, and started driving around the ICE facility and dropping water, dropping water on the street so that on a really cool day so that it would snow or freeze. But what I'm saying is ICE chose the wrong city because we love each other here. Minnesota, we're about peace. We're about love. We love each other. We love our community. We're really big on that. You
And
know?
then that the TikTok.
Yeah, and then so they tried going to Rectangle Pizza. Rectangle Pizza is a small family-owned business in North Minneapolis or
Mhm.
Uptown. I mean, these people, the biggest man I've ever seen. He was huge, tall, strong. He was out there yelling at them, "You're not welcome. You're not
So
welcome."
you do that in Iran, they tell all the vulgar thing they are going to do with you and your family. But in Minnesota, they tell them, you are not welcome here. Everybody's welcome, but
Not
you're
you.
not. You're not welcome here. I think that is actually
Well,
it's
a lot of-
cute in a way.
It is cute, and as a Minnesotan, I love that. I'm really proud of those people.
Mm.
And they're following people around like calling the ICE people like fatty and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
ugly.
Okay, so we have a freedom of speech. I mean, I'm generally not in a favor of escalating violence in any way.
I'm a pacifist. I am not for violence, but this is making me
No,
act violently
but
mad.
I think Walt said it really well. Be there, use your freedom to document things, and those people who do that, they will be held accountable.
But
I'm
this-
absolutely sure about that. Now,
but here's the thing. When will they be held accountable? How many people have to be injured? How many people have to die before ICE actually starts being held accountable? You heard about that autistic woman driving to her doctor's appointment, did you?
no, I didn't.
Recently, here's what I'm saying. This is, if you're not paying attention, you don't know what's going on. You don't need to be at the protests to be targeted. You don't need to be violent to be targeted. You don't even need to say anything to them to be targeted. This woman was driving to her doctor's appointment. It's in Minneapolis. Minneapolis has hospitals. ICE thought that she was following them because she took 2 turns the same as them. So they got out of their car, broke her driver's side window, cut her seatbelt, and dragged her out of the car. And she was screaming, "I'm a citizen. I'm autistic. I'm going to my doctor's appointment. I have a brain injury." And they dragged her out of her car, literally, not figuratively, and carried her by her legs and her feet, her legs and her hands.
And those people will be held accountable. I'm sure of that.
But when she was thrown into the car and detained, another man, and she's white, another man, same situation. He was driving home and ICE thought that he was following them. So they followed him to his house, said something to him on the megaphone, said, "You can't follow us." And he said, "I'm not following you. I'm going
But
home."
this
No,
is nothing
listen.
against the law to follow.
But against their law. That's the problem.
they make
there is
they
no
make
law.
up they make up their own laws.
ICE is the law. They make up their own laws by the day. You're not allowed to follow them. You are not allowed to photo them. If you photo them, you can be arrested. If you video them, you can be
No,
arrested.
that's not the well.
That's their laws.
No, but that's what Walz was saying. If you haven't, please
Okay.
go listen to Governor Walz's statement that made just recently. I listened to it in the full, thing. See, again, this is the methods are nothing new. Just the fact that they bring people outside of the community to do the dirty job, that is just the hallmark. That's the fingerprint of all these totalitarian
Yeah,
regimes
but the thing
and so
is,
on.
Waltz can talk and talk, and I'm not saying I'm against Waltz, but what has he done? What has he done to stop this? Is there anyone kicking ICE out?
What do you think? What do you think? What Walz should do? Do you know what?
Waltz should send the National Guard and tell ICE, "You need to leave."
But then you
Then
see that
our police should be following ICE and saying, "No, you don't get to detain our citizens." No, our police should be arresting ICE.
Well, you see that there, and then there will become gun violence between the ICE and the police officer, and they have 3 times more ICE than police
But what's
officer.
the other end?
But what you see, I think, again, anything that incites violence, it's going to exactly work in the hand of the people who are doing this for this reason. Do you know what we should do? We should bring a law. This is what we should do right now, Governor Walz. If you're listening to me, and please send it to him. You should bring a law right now through the Minnesota legislature that makes not the ICE, not NOM on anybody else, but individual people who are doing the violence, breaking people's law, liable, criminally liable, meaning that they cannot say, and the beautiful part about that is, it is a state law, they cannot be pardoned for it. And so everybody who drag an autistic person out of the car and cause them harm, they're criminally, in the state of Minnesota, liable, and make that a felony.
Yeah, but then our federal government takes our resources that we're paying for. Actually, they're not giving any money to Minnesota. The federal government stopped funding to Minnesota.
But you know what?
And we're a donation state. We give more money than we take.
But all of this will change. All of this will change.
Change it now. Our citizens don't deserve this. We don't deserve what's happening to us. And yes, I agree. We should have a law. But why? What does a law do to non-law abiding citizens?
They put them in prison. In the state of those people who do that, they should be, they should know that the federal government are not going to be behind them forever.
Is it not illegal to shoot an unarmed woman in the head?
Well, what I'm getting, they're charging them for sure.
But what did J.D. Vance literally come up and say?
That is disgusting. But
I
what?
agree.
Let me tell you what I think we should be doing. Okay, I don't believe we should start a war between our police officers and ICE. I think we should not, throw stones and so on and at our own police officers. What I think we should be doing, and we should be doing it right now, go to court, make sure these people cannot hide themselves like criminals behind a mask. Number one, gather as much information we can. Like the state of Minnesota should literally get a warrant to get the individual, metadata of all the cell phone, these people who are there. There should be a record of somebody from Ohio or Mississippi who is now in Minnesota and is present. People should take a video of that, and they need to be individually criminally liable if they harm people.
And what you just said is actually exactly what ICE is doing to our citizens. ICE has these AI platforms. Palantir is one of the big ones who's funding that. And they're using our facial recognition. Anytime you go to a protest, ICE is photographing every single person, every single license plate, and they're trying to press charges against people who are going to these protests. If you're a naturalized citizen and you're caught saying anything against ICE online, anything against ICE,
I will be in trouble. Then I will be in a lot of trouble now.
And that's the thing, and that's why I didn't want to do this podcast, because it's not safe.
You know what?
Not a safe space.
You know what? If you don't exercise our freedom, let me tell you, as somebody who worked hard to be an American, if you don't exercise our freedom, it'll be taken away from us much easier.
Yeah, which is what they're trying to do right now. Well, another thing that they've done recently, so ICE is having these little events in communities in Minnesota. I'm not talking about downtown. I'm talking about in front of people's houses. And a dad had 6 children. He said, I need to get out of here. I'm not a part of these things. This is my home, but I need to leave. He said, can I please leave this location to ICE, like the officers? And I said, yeah, please, go take the kids, go in the car. He brought the kids in the car and they maced the car, mace bombed the car. All the children had to go to the hospital, and the baby, 6-month-old baby, had to be resuscitated.
Okay, but you know what that means? Those people need to be in Minnesota prison for state charges that cannot be pardoned, and they cannot. You see, those things are done. Like we in Second World War, we did not accept from German, SS and Gestapo that I just was ordered to do that. Okay, there is nothing that will protect those people individually, and we should put our laws to full test. So again, please forward this to Governor Walz and our legislator.
I love Walz, and I'm really upset with him right now.
We need to have those laws brought right now, right here.
ICE needs to get out of Minnesota. Honestly, this is not where they belong. They need to get out. They need to quit their jobs. It needs to be completely dismantled, and they all need to be held criminally responsible for what they've done.
But what I'm telling you as well, that in Germany in 1936 they did the same thing and so on. But there are 2 things. Number one, we are not Germans. We are American. We are not Germans. I'm much more optimistic than you, Amanda, on this. Okay, this is a phase we have to go through, and I'm absolutely sure when we come out of this phase, we are going to strengthen our civil society, that exactly things like that can never happen here. We will be much stronger after we are over this painful, the traumatic episode. We will be stronger, number one. And number two, at that time, Germany, they didn't have cell phone that they could document every little atrocities and so on.
Yeah, it's good for us that we can document it, but it's also bad because they're using all of that against us. ICE can track everyone's data, anyone, me even, and I'm not an immigrant, I'm born here. ICE can track me and see everywhere that I go throughout the day.
You're born here?
I have a social security card and
that's not enough reason.
And I have a birth certificate that says I'm born here in Minneapolis.
That's fake.
No. Anyone can take one look at me and know I'm a Minnesotan. And the other part is the US is built on immigrants. Without immigrants, the US actually wouldn't even exist.
Well, we are a country of immigrants.
And immigrant rights are civil rights.
So immigrant are part of our civil society.
Yes, but even people who aren't,
I've watched a video of a ice on the front of somebody, and the lady was screaming, "You idiot! I'm Native American. Are you kidding me? I'm Native American."
well, yeah, because they're arrested.
Beside them, everybody's immigrant. If
Yes.
you are not Native American, if you are not, let's be very clear. It doesn't matter if your ancestor came here as in the Mayflower, and uh, you consider yourself the sons of American
American.
Revolution or daughters of this and that. If you were in the Tea Party and so on, it doesn't matter. If uh, you are not Native American, just you're just immigrant. You just immigrated a little longer ago. So
But this is just really having like huge consequences on our society as well, even financially. Do you know how many restaurants are closing? How many businesses are closing?
but this is the intended disruption to our community here in Minnesota. It is exactly what they are looking for.
And they chose the wrong state. One of my favorite restaurants in Maple Grove, they're so scared. Like they're all Mexicans. It's a Mexican restaurant and they are legal, but they're scared of ICE coming. So they made a Facebook post and they're like, can anyone who's American like come and work here for a couple of months while we're getting like dealing with all this stuff?
Well, I'm not American, but I would go work there in my free time.
Well, here's the thing.
You know-
So many people, like Minnesota is all about community. So many people said like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll work there for free. And they have so many people doing it. They have to turn people away from working there because so many people want to help.
Should be in the news.
It was.
That should be
It was in the news.
that should be pushed out there. We are the wrong community to.
You chose the wrong.
But there is no right
you-
community for that. But we are the wrongest community to
Yeah.
to be to do that to us.
I think if you want to
You'll
live,
fail so bad, like you will literally fall on your ass and break your pelvis. But don't worry, come here, we help you. We even if you break something, we even will treat you if you're ice and have bad intentions. So we are nice people. Yes, we do. Don't even.
I'm not a doctor.
So.
So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, for my message for our community is stay together. Just do what you are doing. Avoid violence. Don't play into their playbook.
You don't even have like a guy was dancing in a fox costume and they detained him. You
Maybe
don't
the-
even have to like
A
you're
fox
driving-
costume. What's the
He
fury?
was making fun of them because he was just trying to make fun of them. Like you're attacking Minnesotans in a fox costume. How dumb are you, really? Like get out of here.
But-
Go back home, take a breather, meditate a little bit, and then find a therapist. Actually, that's my best advice for anyone who's an ICE agent. You're not if you chose to be an ICE agent and you signed up to be an ICE agent, you are not American. You are just a bad person. Period. If you're an ICE agent, either you're dumb, and then I feel bad for you for being so stupid, or you're evil. There's only two. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that, and I think at this point, we should know that going to communities and disrupting them is as un-American as you can do.
And if you don't want to, and if you want to be so strong and tough, take off your mask.
And I think it's all come back to that we need to know we are stronger than this. This is certainly horrific, but we have survived worse thing than this, and it'll be a day of reckoning. I'm absolutely sure about that, and for that we will be stronger afterward. I totally believe in our system.
Yeah, I hope you're right, and I hope it ends really, really quickly.
Yeah, we will. Well,
Okay, you guys, stay safe this weekend. Don't entice any or don't interact with anyone. Don't even look at them in the eyes.
well, and they trust your community, and they just and as again, document things. Don't be scared of talking. Don't be scared of peacefully protesting for your views and so on. And let's keep let's keep our society going. Okay.
And even though it's illegal to harbor an immigrant who might be hiding from ICE, if you are hiding from ICE and you knock on my door, I will open it and I will make sure I'll turn around, make sure my cat doesn't run outside. If you run into my house and I don't see you, that's what happens. Be safe.
Be safe.